Good afternoon and welcome to the John DeVito Show. Today, I want to talk about all of the money that we send as a country overseas. I basically want to start this by just saying no more money overseas. I don't want to send any more money to other countries. I don't want to send money to Ukraine, to Israel, to the Middle East, to the Palestinians, to Saudi Arabia, to anybody. And when I dig in and look at the amount of money that we are sending overseas on a yearly basis, it is mind boggling to think about how much of our taxpayer money is going to other countries, many of them whom are enemies of the United States of America. So, over the last few years, since the war between Russia and Ukraine started, we've seen literally hundreds of billions of dollars being funneled to Ukraine, to Zelensky. Many people believe that a lot of this money is being laundered through Ukraine because the United States has various companies, biotech companies that we do business with in the Ukraine, or we fund completely in the Ukraine. And some people believe that we have companies that are creating biological weapons that are based in Ukraine, and things like COVID and things like that are being created by American biotech companies overseas. So you have to wonder, this war between Russia and Ukraine, what's the war really over? And why are we sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine of our hard earned tax money? Now, you may say, John, don't you have a heart? I do have a heart. I care about people. I don't want people to suffer. I don't like seeing any people suffering. I don't like to see children suffering. I don't like to see the children that were abused on Epstein's Island suffering. I don't like seeing sex trafficking. I don't like seeing homeless veterans in America living on the streets without money, without shelter, that have mental illness, that are dealing with repercussions from the wars that they fought in to defend our freedom. I don't like to see them suffering. I don't like to see people in the inner city suffering, whether they're white, Hispanic, black, Asian, whatever they may be. I don't like to see people suffering. And that goes for people living in other countries as well. Now, that being said, when does it cease to be the responsibility of the United States of America and our taxpayers to take care of people all around the world? Now, if our country was in a phenomenal place where we didn't have homeless, we didn't have hunger, we didn't have violence, we didn't have a mental health epidemic, where we didn't have one problem after another in this country, and the American people are hurting right now. The American people don't have the supports that they need in place, so our own people are being taken care of. Now, if our country was doing great, there were no homeless, we had mechanisms in place to help our homeless veterans, to help those that are dealing with post-traumatic stress due to things that happened to them in war, if we had comprehensive mental health, if we had medical services for people that are maybe poor, that don't get health and dental benefits through their job like many do. If we had all of these things in place, if we did not have a huge problem with people not able to get a good education in our inner cities, if we didn't have a problem with people not being able to find good paying jobs in this country, if we didn't have people that are literally living in tents all throughout the country in cardboard boxes, then I would say, okay, we're a lucky company. We don't have hunger. We don't have homelessness. We don't have mental health issues. Maybe at this point, we can send money overseas and help other countries. But how can we make any justification whatsoever for sending money overseas to other countries when we have these same issues at home and our people are suffering? Honestly, what are our leaders thinking? What are our politicians thinking? And again, I don't think it's mismanagement. I think it is malfeasance. I believe that our leaders are purposely sending our money overseas. They are getting payouts, they're getting kickbacks, they're getting rich off of these type of situations. And when you look at U.S. presidents, like, if you look over the last number of years, Donald Trump actually lost money when he was president. But other presidents like Obama, when he came into the presidency, he had a little over $1 million in net worth, which isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. He was a successful guy, but then by the time he was done with his presidency, he was worth 70 million. Now let me ask you: when you're getting paid $400,000 a year, $500,000 a year, whatever they get paid, how do you amass a fortune of $70 million on a salary that has no way whatsoever to get you there? How about the Clintons? They also came in with a net worth of a little over $1 million. They're now worth 270 million. Biden, the same thing. So these families that are coming into the presidency, supposedly as public servants, are coming in and making a very good salary. However, that salary does not allow them to go from a million to 200 and 300 million in the span of 4 or 8 years based on being frugal and saving their money, investing wisely. The money is coming from someplace. Where is it coming from? I believe it's coming from many of these countries where we're sending money overseas and it's being funneled right back to our government, to certain people, to help them become wealthy. Now, we've heard about some of the numbers. Now, I found a platform, and it's a government website, foreignassistance.gov. You can get onto this by yourself. You can take a look. Let's take a look at the money, the budgets that the presidents have sent, and you can click on this and look year by year. So in the year 2023, the year we're in currently right now I don't see where Ukraine is included in this. So I believe any money that's been sent to Ukraine is over and above this amount. But in the year 2023, we have sent $51 billion to 178 different countries and regions. And you can actually click on this and see what countries and regions this has been sent to. So let's go back to 2022. We sent 46 billion. So in the last 2 years under Biden, we've sent $100 billion overseas. Let's go back to 2021. And just so you know, I'm not even looking at this beforehand. I don't care if it's Biden. I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's Obama, Clinton, Bush. This money has to stop. Democrat, Republican is irrelevant. We need to stop sending our money to other countries when we are starving to death at home. 2021, again, with Biden, 32 billion. So now we're looking at well over 100 billion that's been sent out of the country to other countries with Biden as the president. Let's look at 2020, 30 billion. So 30 billion back in 2020 to 139 different countries. Now let's get into the Trump era and see how this looks. And unfortunately, this does go back to like 2017, 2016. So this actually goes back quite a ways. So let's look at 2019. 2019, under Trump, we sent 30 billion to 141 countries. Let's look at 2018, 29 billion. 2017, 49 billion. 2016, 42 billion. 2015, 42 billion. 2014, 33 billion. Let's keep going. 2013, actually the last one was 2014. 2013, 35 billion. 2012, 38 billion. 2011, 35 billion. 2010, 35 billion. This keeps going. 2009, 30 billion. 2008, only 24 billion. It was a slow year. 2007, 2007. Now what happened this year? Only 3 billion. Now, that's what I like to see. 3 billion, in my opinion, is still too much. But that is what we should be looking for. 2006, 3 billion. 2005, 2.5 billion. So if you really look at this now, 2004, it says zero. I'm not sure if that is just not listed or we didn't send anything that year. Let me look at 2003. Let me change the parameters here. Let's see. So disbursements. Okay. In 2003, we actually dispersed 24 billion. The president just did not have it in his budget. 2004, still 26 billion. So I was hoping for the best. 2005, 33 billion. So we still dispersed that money. So if you look at this, literally over the last 20 years, we've been averaging somewhere between 30 and 50 billion dollars a year to other countries around the world. We're giving away our money. We are giving away our money. When are we, the American people, going to stand up and demand an end to the welfare that we are sending to other countries? I mean, look at our country. Our country is a shell of what it once was, and we are sending money overseas in a record number. Now we've got, again, hundreds of billions going to Ukraine. How much are we going to be sending to the Middle East? How much to Israel? How much to Hamas and other terrorists? I mean, when did we become the charity donation of the world? Our country, our people, we are struggling in this country. We are struggling like we've never struggled before. And our people are being left with no supports. Could you imagine? Now, I don't like the idea of spending this money. I think it should be returned to the taxpayers. But let's say if we averaged, say, 30 billion over the last 20 years, think of how much money that is. And imagine what we could have done with that 30 billion per year for 20 years if we had fixed up our roads, fixed up our bridges, modernized trains, modernized maybe the power grid, maybe gone and modernized all these climate change crazies, maybe modernizing our country so we could actually handle the demand of electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles. How about all that money? Could that have been used to battle this quote unquote climate change catastrophe? How about the homeless people who are living on the streets? How about the veterans who have no place to live and are hooked on drugs and alcohol because they are self-medicating from post-traumatic stress syndrome after being in the wars? What we are seeing in our country right now is absolutely disgraceful. Our leaders are betraying us. They are bankrupting our country. And when you look at these hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of billions, if not trillions over time, that have been sent overseas, look at our national debt. How much money do we owe? How many trillions do we owe now? The United States is spending money like it's going out of style. The United States never falls within their budget. We owe trillions. Our country is on the verge of bankruptcy, and we still send billions upon billions overseas every year to other countries. Does anybody else see a problem with this? Is anybody else concerned that we have a problem in this country that needs to be addressed? Why is no one talking about this? We're so busy fighting over Democrat versus Republican, black versus white, gay versus straight, abortion, anti-abortion. We are not seeing the absolute fleecing of the American taxpayers. And again, I get it. I'm not a heartless person. I know there are children starving in Africa. I know there are children being abused in the Middle East. I understand that. I know there are children being abused in Asia, people starving in Asia. And it's horrible. It breaks my heart. However, what about the people in the United States of America, the country that we live in? Don't we owe those people something? Don't we owe our own legal Americans a chance to get help instead of sending hundreds of billions and trillions overseas to benefit other countries? It's disgraceful. So I'm going to wrap this up in 15 minutes. I'm going to keep it short today. But I just want to say to everybody out there, when are we going to stand up and start saying no more money overseas? It's well past that time. We need to stop the bleeding of the money from this country and do whatever we can to ensure that our country has a positive financial future and our people are being taken care of. That's it for the John DeVito Show today. No more monies overseas. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope that you all come back very soon. Please tell a friend. Thank you again.